We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Securities offered through World Equity Group, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services offered through ProStatus Group, LLC. McPherson Financial Group and ProStatus Group, LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by World Equity Group, Inc. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Art McPherson is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Arthur McPherson. Florida Insurance License number A174725.
Welcome to The Art of Money with your host, Art McPherson.
We talk about this with our clients all the time. We say, look, you're going to go through 4 or 5 major market corrections through your retirement. They're going to happen. We just don't know what they're called yet.
At McPherson Financial Group, we'll help you accomplish your retirement goals and be at your side every step of the way.
It's really preparing people's portfolios without having a 50% correction. So if we go through a 50% correction, it's something we can recover from very quickly, and it's not devastating to their retirement and to their income.
Let Art and the team at McPherson Financial Group help you create a sound financial strategy for the days ahead. And now, The Art of Money with Art McPherson.
And it's all powered by the McPherson Financial Group. Coming up this weekend, using hindsight to create a proper retirement plan and the biggest villains in retirement as we get ready for Halloween. 321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com. My name is Mark Owens, Art McPherson, Coach Julie. How you doing this weekend?
Doing great.
I don't want to put your business out there. You're not doing good because your husband and myself were trying to schedule to go to a concert together, and you have been fighting us the entire way.
I know.
She'll love it, though.
King George is coming to Jacksonville in May of 2024.
She's just not a big fan of King George's music.
And we're trying to put this trip together, and you have just been wet blanket the whole time, Julie.
I want to see
Chris Stapleton,
Little Big
Chris
Town.
Stapleton and Little Big Town. Yes. However,
She's got a curly girl crush on the blonde.
Little Big Town?
I want my curls to be more like her curls.
I get it.
Big and wild and crazy.
She does. She loves her hair.
Why are you not interested in this overall concert?
She is.
Well, because we saw it already.
Yeah, but it'll be different. It's 24.
And it's me.
And it's with you.
And it's with some of our friends in the industry.
So I'm there for the peeps.
There
but
you
I'm
go.
not there for George.
Well, you'll be there for
Little
the
Big
other.
Town and Chris Stapleton.
And you love
Yeah.
Stapleton. Him
I
live
love
is
both of those
crazy
groups,
good.
but no. Yeah, the other.
And we can debut your official McPherson Financial Group tailgate tent.
Oh, there you go.
That'll be even better.
And we can write the whole thing off as a business expense because these tickets are so...
I love how you look out for us that way.
And are you
Gosh
going to get
darn
us a backstage pass with him?
So how was y'all's weekend? Well, what? Having a good weekend so far.
We were going to concerts that whole weekend.
In
We had
Kissimmee
scheduled this.
at Country Thunder.
Yeah, we scheduled this before the FSU schedule came out and everything like that. So one of the main reasons I scheduled this little Country Thunder concert event was Hardy was playing.
How was
and
he?
I'm a big fan of Hardy.
Yeah.
I did not see him. So Hardy played on Saturday. Well, Julie wanted to go see the game, FSU game on Saturday. So we were over in Orlando. We went to Friday night concerts, left Saturday morning to Tallahassee from Orlando, went to the game, got up at 6 in the morning after getting home from the game at about 1:30 at night.
In the morning.
To travel back so I could play a round of golf at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then go to the concerts
Back
that
to the
started
concerts
at 2
again.
o'clock again.
Yeah.
Gracious.
And they went till about midnight that night. So we were pulling about 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday evening.
So let me explain this to
And
you
that
as
was Keith Urban was the headliner that night.
as he is telling everybody that, like, boo-hoo to him that he didn't get to see Hardy, but my wife wanted to go to the football game. Yeah, I wait the whole entire season for football. And once this game is done, it's done. You can never see it again. But, oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure I can pull up a schedule of more concerts with Hardy.
I just think that's why you're getting a little bit of poo-poo. She's a little concert fatigued right now.
Yeah, probably. That could be. However, it did end with
Keith Urban.
Yeah. So
And
here's
I will
what
say-
I'm hearing, Art McPherson. This is going to be a great road trip with Art and Mark going to a
Yes.
George Strait concert, and Julie, we will happily
Done.
send you pictures.
Done. No problem. I am all in for that.
Wow!
100%.
Don't argue with me on that one.
100%. Because I'm thinking May. Okay, we're back in baseball season in May. So, yeah, I'm sure I can go to some baseball. Hey,
What?
maybe y'all can go to your concert and I can go to some baseball games.
Okay. Again.
Done.
But see, we will go to those games. We're not going to argue and poo-poo baseball. We like baseball and concerts. Look, 321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com. To meet Art McPherson, Coach Julie, and the entire team. Always spend the first couple of minutes every weekend here on the Art of Money catching up with Coach Julie. And if it's your first time checking us out, Coach Julie and Art McPherson, they are married. What's your official title? You're the CFO of the McPherson Financial Group, correct?
I'm the CFO, the janitor, the light bulb changer, the painter.
Do a little bit of it all, and then also
I
put
do.
us in our place when we want to spend a lot of money watching country music.
That's exactly right.
Okay, I've got a question for you, because we talk about things we've done in the past. Great football games, great concert, but everybody says, well, I should have done this, and maybe I should have done this. I wanted y'all to hear this. This is from Conan O'Brien.
What if you had purchased Apple stock before the launch of the iPhone? What if you had bought Amazon before it was the only place people shopped? At Hindsight Financial, you don't have to wonder how rich you could have been, because we'll show you. Our advisors will walk you through every single opportunity you missed. Let us show you how many years earlier you could have retired. Oh, the life you would have had. Hindsight Financial. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
The things we
That's
could have,
funny.
should have.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
I was thinking about you, Art, and I was thinking about what y'all do for the community. Talk to me about when you talk to retirees or the families that you serve. What's some of the hindsight that they have?
I think what I hear the most often is, why did we not meet 5 years ago,
Yeah.
10 years ago? They wish they had met us earlier, in their planning for retirement stage, so they could have done better as they were preparing. Just all kinds of things that we do, right? So saving money and putting money aside is one part of the equation. Being tax efficient about it is another part of the equation. How to do Roth conversions and, how to contribute most effectively based on your tax income range. Those kind of discussions that we have. And people have a tough time with just doing the contributions, let alone all the other planning. So just having just a full service firm to be able to really help them walk through retirement. And then when you're in that retirement red zone, which is 5 years of retirement, then there's a lot of things that need to be done. You want to really shift those assets to make sure that you're starting to protect them, because you're now going to go to an income phase. We want to really try to minimize volatility in that portfolio as much as we can, but still get a good yield. You still have to get a good, consistent long-term return. So we're looking for the 7.5% to 9% range typically for a long-term return for people. And that way, when they're pulling money out in retirement for income, it's providing that. Plus we have inflation built into that modeling too. So it really provides fantastic retirement income for the rest of their retirement.
So one of the fears people have is running out of money. One of the hindsights they have is, I wish I would have called you earlier.
And what I do like to hear also when people do come in for their reviews, or clients come in for their reviews and they are retired, and you say, oh, how's it going? And they say, why didn't I retire sooner?
Are you hearing that more and more lately, of people just saying, I'm burned out by it all? Can we speed up this process a little bit?
It depends. So like if you had somebody that really was in a career field that they loved, no, I don't hear that, because they actually loved what they did and they got paid to do it. However, Julie, she loved to be a teacher when she was in the teaching field. It was all the things they made her do that wasn't teaching that she didn't care for. And all of her planning time was eaten up with meetings and all this other stuff that didn't allow her to do her papers and grading. And if you really do the math on what they
Or
ask a
actually
teacher to do,
teaching.
like if they're grading papers till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, their per hour wage goes to the toilet. It's not good.
If it starts in the toilet, there's no place to go.
The wage just gets flushed. That's what happens. What about you personally? If you have your own hindsight in life, is there anything you say, God, I woulda, coulda, should have done that?
That's hard.
A loaded question. Yes, I know.
Very loaded question. Probably, I don't know, because I'm very happy with everything. Like, I don't have regrets. I don't have, what happened, and different things in your life, you learn from. It's not like, oh, darn, why did I do that? Shoot, that was really bad idea. Because everything that happens, take it as a learning experience and either continue and make a bad choice again or learn from it and create new experiences. So if anything, coulda, woulda, shoulda, I should have prepared harder for 29029. So, or gotten my knee fixed so I could be done and have that red hat, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, so we're doing it again.
Well, one of the things that we talked about just a little bit to kind of give you a little bit of insight on us meeting, we commented like we both were different people because of things that we had gone through, and we probably would not have been attracted to one another without going through some of those curveballs of life, right? So without going through some of the hard times that changed who we were, and then it made us more attracted to each other so that when we finally met, it was a good fit. Because if it hadn't been for those troubles and things that we went through in our past, we probably wouldn't have even been interested in one another.
Well, I say that all the time about my wife, Gretchen. Had we met in our 20s, we would be friends. But since we met in our 30s in a different phase of our life, we're happily married, wonderful daughter. It's just you're growing your experiences. You're still learning at a younger part of life, too. But going back to Julie, what you said about experiences and life and hindsight, listen, don't look back on May 12th and say, I really could have, should have, would have gone to that concert with Art and Mark. Because it's going to be
pretty sure I won't.
Ow, my soul. That one hurt. Art McPherson, same question to you. Looking back, is there anything that you look back and say, man, I would have, should have, could have done that?
I think some of the things that, when you look at your life and you look at your experiences, one of the things that I had to make a decision back, and I'm really glad I made the decision. I used to ski for Florida State University, but it wasn't a recognized collegiate sport. So we were a club, a ski club, right? Now we competed against UCF and Rollins College and all the different schools that were good and competitive. But we had professional athletes before NIL that you were competing against because it was not a recognized collegiate sport. So you could get paid to do it. You could be a professional and still compete collegiately. So we had some of the best skiers in the world that we always had to compete against. But I made a decision real quickly when I looked at my heroes of the field that were making, they were the best of the best of the best. You couldn't get any better. They had all the sponsorship and everything. But when you looked at the earnings, it was like $100,000 a year. And I'm like, I know I'm not going to be the best of the best of the best. I'm going to be entering into that field. I'm maybe the top 100 if you're lucky. And what does that person make?
Yeah.
$10,000? I'm like, yeah, no, I think I need to work for a living, and then I'll ski on the weekends and have a good time.
So it was almost like you made the right decision, and you were. Even at that age, kind of recognize your path and what's going to work for you.
And one decision I thought that I would be very frustrated with is when I left college, it was in 92. That was the year I thought I would graduate, but I had an elective credit that didn't count. So I had to actually do that elective online course. So I actually graduated by paper in 93, but that happened to be the first national championship. So I've always loved the fact that they discounted it was actually scuba diving, which I took. So the School of Business did not recognize
not underwater
that.
basket weaving.
It was actually
scuba diving.
But it was 3 hours instead of just one that I needed, and they still wouldn't count it for the business school. So I got some bad advice on that from my counselor, but that ended up being, it ended up changing a semester, which changed the year, right, on my diploma, which changed it into our first national championship. So
okay, I'm still back at the scuba diving
as an elective
class because, wow, I never had that as an option.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Florida.
That's true.
I took Tying Your Shoes 101 at Georgia. I failed 3 times.
So that's why they have Velcro.
Exactly. You're
Coulda, woulda, shoulda invented those.
Well, I'll put it this way. Our instructor was a Navy SEAL.
Oh.
Tough.
And we learned through Patty.
I would have signed up.
Our qualification dive, you had to jump in with your tank and everything in your hands.
And get dressed.
You were not allowed to have anything in your mouth. So you had to literally jump in with everything off. And then the bottom was 85 feet. So you're basically putting everything on as you're sinking.
As you're falling.
Yep. And then As long as you did that and didn't panic, you were certified after that.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda picked another class. 321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com. To meet the team, you can schedule that initial consultation. It's no cost. It's no obligation. Coach, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Have a great rest of the weekend. Can't wait to hang out with you in King George and Jacksonville next year.
Yes.
When we get back, Luke McCarty's going to join us and talk about the market ups and downs, how to prepare when everything feels like it's just out of control. We'll get to that plus more. This is The Art of Money with Art McPherson.
There's a reason potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam.
Art McPherson and the team from McPherson Financial Group can help. Their tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future. That way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report. 321-425-8550. That's 321-425-8550. Or online at artofmoneyradio.com. Get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey. You've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Art McPherson. More information at artofmoneyradio.com.
Appreciate you listening to The Art of Money with Art McPherson. It's all powered by the McPherson Financial Group. 321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com. Luke McCarty is joining us. Luke, how you doing this weekend?
I'm doing well. I'm fresh off another visit to a local private school. But I do want to say this year it's cheaper because Ron DeSantis signed into legislation or law about a $7,000 scholarship if you go to a private school. It doesn't matter what your income level is. It doesn't matter anything. It's just if you're not going to your local public school and you're going somewhere else, I think they pay the school directly $7,000. So that makes these private schools a little bit cheaper.
Oh, heck yeah. That's instead of your taxpayer money going to the public, they're actually refunding it back to the private school. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, my taxes will still be paid to Viera and to those schools in the real estate tax. But apparently if I go somewhere else, it's, I get some of that back.
Nice.
So it's a good benefit. Now, I don't know if it'll be there. I mean, my kids are young, so I don't know if it'll be there 20 years from now. And if that changes, then that's
You have to reevaluate.
My kids and their lifestyle and their future education.
But look what Dad's trying to do for you right now.
Yeah, but we still don't know the answer. We have to decide in March where our oldest is going to go to kindergarten. And for me, being from Kansas, this is very odd, right? I used to, if you lived in this neighborhood, you went to this school, unless your parents want to drive you, 30 miles away to some Catholic school. You're going to this public school. But here in Florida, you kind of go wherever you want to, and it's stressful for mom and dad.
Trying to choose the right place to go.
Right.
321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com to meet Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, and the team of the McPherson Financial Group. Luke, also at the beginning of the show, we were talking about how a lot of the families that you serve, they come in with a woulda, coulda, shoulda frame of mind. I wish I would have done this or could have done this or should have done this when putting a plan together. So with the clients that you talk to that maybe they're in retirement now, Luke, what do you find that they say most often that they wish they woulda, coulda, shoulda done earlier?
I think they wish they would have known about the Roth sooner or wish they would have at least participated in the Roth sooner. This could be the Roth IRA or the Roth 401k because we see clients coming in here with, call it $1 million, $2 million, $3 million and up in a 401k. Well, that's a big snowball that is being rolled, I'd say uphill, and it's, getting larger, meaning your tax bill just gets larger over time. Whereas if they had done the Roth sooner, they could have a tax-free bucket in retirement. So I'd say, when we start bringing up the Roth, like, yeah, I knew about that. Gosh, I wish all my money was in the Roth. Well, you don't need all of it in the Roth. We have a mathematical calculation that'll tell you how much you'd want to get into the Roth. You can still have taxable or IRA 401k money and still be in a low to no tax bracket. But yeah, the Roth is huge. Think about retiring and all your money being tax free.
Art mentioned at the beginning of the show that a lot of people said that I wish I would have called you earlier. You hear that a lot too.
I do hear that a lot. And a lot of it comes down to the tax planning we do for our clients is I wish I would have known about this sooner. I wish I would have jumped on this train right at the beginning of the Trump tax cuts. Because for your whole life, you've been taught, well, don't pay the tax today because you're going to pay less when you retire. Well, we think taxes are going up, so you may pay the same, if not more, in retirement than you did while working.
Mm-hmm. And most of the time, Mark, when we're talking with people about retirement income planning, there's very few people that can live on less income in retirement. So pretty much you have your budget while working. You usually only see about 60% on average of what you actually make gross. So when we're building a budget for most of our clients, we're taking that net income, that net income amount. So if on paper you're making $200,000, you don't see $200,000. You don't see $15,000, $16,000 a month. What you're seeing is 60% of that. So a lot of times, a person making that much money is really only seeing about $10,000 a month to take home. So we build their retirement plan off of that. And then we add to it travel and some those what if kind of events that could happen. We also talk about long-term care, things like that. Are they prepared for that if either one of them have to go into a long-term care facility and things along those lines?
321-425-8550. Make the phone call and take the opportunity to sit down with Art McPherson, Luke McCarty. Let's start putting that plan together. It's no cost. It's no obligation. 321-425-8550. Okay, how about on the lighter side? Luke McCarty, woulda, coulda, shoulda. For yourself personally.
Well, there was this one girl. I'm joking. Don't listen, Stacy. Right when I graduated college, I moved to Dallas and I was working at a CPA firm. Of course, I wish I would have, taken the CPA exam. I had all my credits. I was all ready for it. Could have done it, but didn't want to be a CPA for the rest of my life. But, within that time frame as well is, you get your first job. You're making more, money because you'd never really made money before. So keeping up with the Joneses and going, going out and doing things. And, if I would have just, instead of saving, 10 or 12% of the paycheck, if I had done 20 or 25%, this is, 15, 20 years ago. This could be huge by now, but it's hard when you get that big boy job to not have some fun with it.
321-425-8550. Give the team in the McPherson Financial Group a call and let's start putting that plan together. Again, it's no cost, no obligation for that initial consultation. You can always get more information when you visit artofmoneyradio.com. And unretiring is now a thing. There are millions of adults who left the workforce during COVID. And there was a new T. Rowe Price study that found that 20% of retirees are working part or full-time, which is now double the number from a couple of years ago. I want you to hear this clip from Yahoo Finance's Carrie Hannon.
There are some wonderful reasons to continue to work in some fashion, even if you have saved appropriately, because you can maybe add to retirement accounts. You can stave off dipping into those retirement accounts so they can keep growing. And you can delay your Social Security benefit, possibly from full retirement age, say 66, 67, until age 70, and you get a 8% increase each year in your benefit that is permanent between those years, full retirement age and 70. This can be significant.
What are the pros and cons behind that?
I would say there's a couple things she said that are very real that we do see with some of our clients. So anybody that is financially able to retire, they're always very, very nervous about healthcare costs, anything below 65. And they're very nervous about retiring and taking a less on their Social Security, but then they're really worried about, what do I do about my healthcare costs? So working a little bit longer, to make it to Medicare age is a big deal. Some people like that. And it doesn't have to be the 50 or 60 hours a week if that's what you're doing right now. You can back it off, right? So you go into a kind of a quasi-retirement mode where you do retire, maybe you get a pension payout, and you take partial distributions, right? So you stay working, but now you're working 20 hours a week instead of 40 or 50. So that way, when your buddy Mark Owens calls about going to a concert in Jacksonville, you can do that. Even if your wife says no, you can still go because you have the time to do that. But you get my point. We have a lot of clients that want to do the traveling. They want to see their kids and their grandkids, but their kids aren't just in the same neighborhood anymore. The kids are living in different states and different parts of the country. So sometimes they have to fly and do things. So those trips are not inexpensive. Those are usually big trips. And we have a lot of clients that like motorhomes and RVs or fifth wheels, things like that. And there's a lot of cost when you're only, when you're to fill up your tank, it's 200 or 300 gallons and you get 8 miles a gallon. It's a little expensive to go in a motorhome somewhere. So having all that planned for and prepared for.
Yeah, I think it depends if you're a busybody and you just need to be doing something. It depends what you've set up for yourself in retirement, but we see some clients go back to work because they just can't sit at home, or the yard's already immaculate, or they've already set up their Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas decorations. So what are they going to do next? Well, maybe they get bored. So some people go back to work because that's a personal choice. I would say like my father, for instance, he's retired. He's a retired union plumber in Kansas City. So he has a pension, and he's working part-time at a grocery store, right? My mom's still working. My dad has the pension, but he just can't sit there, not do anything. So he works part-time at a grocery store. And this joke, which I think I said it last year, the grocery store he works for, we don't have him down here in Florida, but it's called Price Chopper.
Okay.
So he's supposed to be chopping prices. And I called him and I said, Dad, I'm like, what do you mean you work at the grocery store? What do you do? And he goes, well, Luke, every Friday I just go around and I raise prices. I said, that's the opposite of chopping, Dad. Thank you.
How is that chopping prices?
I don't get it.
It's not, but that's their claim, is they're cheaper. They're supposed to be it's just a big grocery store, but it's Price Chopper. Like they're going to chop some prices and you're going to have some savings, but not in this era.
Not in the Biden era.
Yeah, not in the Biden era. Your meat just doubled, and orange juice is going to be gold here soon.
So instead of a price chopper, it's a price stopper, because when you come in the next week and you see the price of the meat, you're like, what?
Right.
But is it one of those stores that actually raised the price by about $1.50 and then drops it by 50 cents later and says, look, we're lowering prices?
And then chop it like Hobby Lobby. Everything's always on sale. And if it's not, wait till next week. No, I mean, this is a big grocery store. There's a lot of chain. There's hundreds of them probably up in the Midwest, but there's no price drops.
There's no chopping going
Since
on.
the time he's been there for like a year and a half, I don't think he's dropped any prices.
We can thank our current administration for that.
Oh, by the way, I heard of we've talked about stagflation and shrinkflation and inflation. There's a new one we'll talk about next week here on The Art of Money, funflation. Now inflation is hitting us when we go try to have fun experiences. And as Art was saying a couple seconds ago, Luke, I'm trying to get him to schedule a weekend to go see George Strait down in Jacksonville. Somebody, I'm not going to say any names, starts with a Ruli. She is totally price chopping any ideas we have for this little trip.
Price chopping.
Well, probably because those tickets. I mean, if they're anything close to, a Morgan Wallen or a Taylor Swift ticket, they're going to be $1,000.
Is that what Morgan Wallen and Taylor Swift are?
Well, Stacy bought me she bought some tickets for next year for my birthday, which is in August, of a Morgan Wallen concert. He's a country singer, and he's selling out stadiums, and he's doing back-to-backs and doing all sorts of stuff. And it was like, I don't remember, $300 or $350, but she got on the pre-sale list, and now those tickets are going for like $600 or $700 if we just resell them. And they're like, I mean, they're good seats, they're lower level, but it's not like you're not that close. So yeah, they're expensive. And of course, the Taylor Swift, you pay to listen in the parking lot.
You pay $1,000 to have a pole view of a reflection.
Right. This is where the Federal Reserve runs into trouble, because if you have a lot of your big savers are now getting 5% on their cash, so they have more money to spend, and prices just keep going up. Opposite effect, guys. Come on, Fed. Figure out a different way. Well,
the one thing that cracked me up is I was on the way home probably about 6 months ago now, and Julie asked me to pick up some cereal from the grocery store. Mm-hmm. It had probably been 3 years since I bought cereal at the grocery store. And last time I bought Honey Nut Cheerios, they were like $4 for a box, and it was like $7 and change. And I said, is this real? Am I really looking at this right? Is this a correct price point? She goes, yeah, it is. Is it on buy one, get one? I said, no. She said, well, I need it, so get it. I just was shocked. That's a lot more than 15% inflation. That's 100% inflation.
We bought $150 in diapers yesterday.
God almighty.
And how long does that last, Luke?
Monday afternoon.
I don't know. But we only have 2 kids in diapers, so not even all 3. So
trick or treat. Do you have any extra diapers?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll bring over
maybe a month
when I go over to your house. Instead of bringing candy, I'll just bring a bag of diapers.
Yeah, but it's got to be the right kind, or we won't. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I know.
We're pretty picky.
I understand.
Moms can be picky.
Don't worry, I'll ask Mom.
Don't bring diapers.
Look, if nothing else to take away this weekend, everybody here, doesn't matter if you are, working in a factory, or if you work in an office, or if you're part of the McPherson Financial Group, everybody's being affected right now by these high prices and inflation. 321-425-8550. Don't let it damage your retirement plan. Let's sit down, take a look at your retirement portfolio, make adjustments as needed, or if you just need a second set of eyes, no cost, no obligation. 321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com. Quick break, and we're back with more. This is The Art of Money with Art McPherson.
What do you tell your spouse when she gives you a honey-do list? Of course, you answer, no problem, I have it covered. But what if she gives you a retirement to-do list? Things like, where are we with our Social Security benefits? How does our tax strategy look? Do we have enough income to retire? With the help from Art McPherson and the team at the McPherson Financial Group, your answer will again be, no problem, I have it covered. Call Art McPherson for your complimentary retirement income plan. 321-425-8550. Art will take a deep dive into your portfolio to see what adjustments need to be made at no cost or obligation to you. Call today, 321-425-8550. That's 321-425-8550. Or online at artofmoneyradio.com.
If there's something you missed on this week's Art of Money radio show, or maybe you want to hear it again, go subscribe to the Art of Money podcast. We have new shows weekly and a full archive covering upcoming tax changes, RMDs, and of course, retirement planning. It's the Art of Money podcast, available wherever you subscribe to your favorite shows.
Getting Uncle Sam out of your pocket. This is the Art of Money with Art McPherson.
The problem is sometimes the off-air conversations are better than the on-air conversations. 321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com to have your own conversations with Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, and the team at the McPherson Financial Group. And if you missed anything, we do invite you to check out the Art of Money podcast, and it is commercial free. Art McPherson, Luke McCarty. So we've been talking this weekend about longevity in a retirement plan, and Disney just officially turned 100 years old and now joins that exclusive clubs of companies that have made it through the Great Depression, World War II, the rise of the internet and social media. So how do we get that in our own portfolio?
You can, because you're talking about a 100-year period, right?
Yep.
So you just let the market and investments do what they do. What happens to most investors, though, when we go through times like today, when you have all kinds of political uncertainty, you have geopolitical uncertainty, where we get all this news reports out there right now that new attacks on Israel by Hamas. We've got all these things going on with Russia and Ukraine. We have all kinds of weird things happening at home where, the Republicans got rid of their Speaker of the House, can't get a new one in. All kinds of things are happening. We've had a president for the first time in history have his house raided by the FBI and then been indicted 4 different times. It's just, we got a lot of firsts going on right now that cause a lot of nervousness, and we've seen a lot of corruption. We've seen a lot of information come out into the news media where it looks like a lot of our 3-letter agencies are corrupt and are, doing a lot of things incorrectly. And it looks like even our media at times is very biased and very opinionated and doesn't really act like a free press too much anymore. So we've had a lot of really weird things, and there's a lot of things that put the hairs on the back of your neck and make them stand up. So it's hard to watch your money just grow over time and think, oh my gosh, is it going to crash? Am I going to lose everything? So trying to stay the course sometimes for the small investor is hard, especially with all the noise and the chatter out there.
Yeah, when you look at Disney lasting through the last 100 years and being successful, and with all these big events that happen, this is where hindsight comes into play. Hindsight, you should have just bought Disney, you should have just held it through all the events. Hindsight says you should have bought Apple at the very beginning and went through those 30, 40, 80% corrections and just held on to it. And this is the hard part about this industry is when you look at a chart, when you look at a graph, when you look at history, it looks easy. But when you're sitting in it and you're living in it, and the bond market that you've had since the 80s is over, and now you're losing money on bonds, and the stock market and the bond market were down last year. That rarely happens. This year, as Art mentioned, all those geopolitical events and things that are happening as first times, you really just need a plan. You need to know, if I need money this year, where's it coming from? It's probably not coming from a stock, hopefully not, because that stock can go up or down this year. So you need to have the plan that says, this is where I'm taking money for this year. This is where I'm taking money if the stock market's positive. Here's where I'm taking money if the stock market is negative, and kind of build out those different investments so you have options for the future unknown that does not derail your investment plan. And that's how you create longevity within your portfolio.
And Luke, what's one option for some guaranteed longevity in a retirement plan? Is that a conversation we can have?
That is. So when a client or a potential client comes, to our office and we have that conversation, we ask the question, how much money do you want to have guarantees on it? And of course you want to say all of it, but there's pros and cons of guaranteeing something into the future. So you can definitely kind of create guardrails that say, no matter what happens in the market at this date, at this age, this is going to be my income no matter what. So you can use an insurance company and you can use an annuity that guarantees you a future income stream. But within this future income stream, if something happens to you, your spouse gets the benefit or the money out of it. If something happens to you or your spouse, or if it's just you, well, then your kids get the money. So the old way of insurance we don't like. There are new products out there that, can guarantee you an 8% roll up every year, right? Give you a bonus going in, but just know this is used for future income. And the longer you wait, the higher your income is going to be. And that's how you can create some longevity in your portfolio, is guaranteeing a portion of the portfolio that is there no matter what.
A lot of people see annuities in a negative light. Some people love them. Some people hate them. Some people say that, look, they're not worth the money with the paper they're written on. So talk to me for a couple of seconds here about the power of an annuity and where do you stand?
So the power of an annuity is having some guarantees. You're either guaranteed to not lose money, or you're guaranteed to have a future income stream, or you're maybe guaranteed to not lose the first 20% of something. So they are very good when it comes to reducing risk or guaranteeing future income. They can be bad if you want all that money back out to buy an RV, to buy a boat, or buy a house. So they're good for a portion of the portfolio. Where people run into trouble is if they are talking to an advisor who only does annuities. Well, if you only do annuities, they're going to sound really good. I've made this comment before. If you go to the Ford dealership and you're looking for a brand new car, well, they're going to sell you a Ford. So you need to find a fiduciary that can do all sorts of financial planning, all sorts of different types of investments, whether that be a Fidelity, Schwab, insurance company, a bank, alternatives, farmland, storage facilities. There's all sorts of things we can do here that's a little bit different.
And it all begins with a phone call. Could an annuity be a good opportunity for your retirement plan? The number is 321-425-8550. That initial consultation with Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, and the team at the McPherson Financial Group. It's no cost. It's no obligation. Again, 321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com. We've talked about a year and a half now. We've been talking about I-bonds here on the Art of Money radio show. And last year, many adults put their cash in I-bonds when the rates were nearly 10%. Now, for those who've held I-bonds for the last year, what's the sweet spot for cashing them out, and where's a good place to put that money?
Well, the sweet spot is, can you do better in another vehicle, right? So if you can get 5.05 right now in a money market, you don't really need to be in the I-bond anymore. However, I-bonds were great when we had inflation, things were going up. We helped a lot of our clients get involved with I-bonds. But the government, because they didn't want to pay that kind of a yield, made it very, very difficult to do. So you were only allowed to do $10,000 per Social Security number, and they were very limiting on what you could do. You couldn't have a financial advisor, a fiduciary help you with it. You had to do it by yourself. You had to do it directly on the .gov website, and it was not easy to do, and it was very cumbersome, and a lot of our clients really struggled with it. But we did help them. We kind of notified everybody about the benefits of them, but we have had a few people start to move those dollars around where they can get a better yield on something that doesn't have to be quite as long term.
And it's worth noting, too, Luke McCarty, that when it comes to an I-bond, you can't put one together for someone, but you can point them in the right direction. You can give them some guidance.
Correct. So I think it was about a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, when the I-bond rates were in the 9 or 10% range. We sent out a video to all of our clients recommending them to go out to the website treasurydirect.gov and go purchase them. We even sent some money out of our investments here to clients for them to go buy that, because we could not guarantee anything at 9% at that time. So, it's a good thing to have, but as Art was saying, if you can earn more money somewhere else with the same amount of risk, or, which these are very low risk, then that's the time when you want to consider cashing them out. But they're not really a big investment, because you only do $10,000 a year. So it's not life changing, but If the rates were in the 9s and I could push buttons, everybody would own it, and that's all we would own. Our whole portfolio last year could have been an I bond at 9% when the market was down 20 to 30. But it's not that simple, and that's when the government puts strings on something, there's always a reason.
Kind of just weird to hear there's a government option out there that could really benefit us. You don't hear that too often.
Well, it only benefited us for a very short window.
Right.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's usually how these programs work. However, we've been talking about an I bond for a year and a half now, and maybe you're thinking, should I pull the trigger? Should I see if it benefits my retirement portfolio? Or maybe you have an I bond, and just exactly as the conversation we just had, should I go ahead and cash it out now? Well, you could schedule a time to talk to Art McPherson, Luke McCarty about just that. What is best for your overall retirement plan? That initial consultation, it's no cost. It's no obligation. You're going to personally sit with Art McPherson or sit with Luke McCarty to customize that plan or to get that second opinion. It's no cost. It's no obligation. 321-425-8550. Again, 321-425-8550. Art said it a little bit earlier in the show. This time of the year, fall here, the holidays here, things get pretty busy at the McPherson Financial Group, but we always save space for our radio audience. But those spaces are filling up. 321-425-8550. You can always get more information, meet the team, and schedule that consultation when you visit artofmoneyradio.com. Quick break, and we're back with more. This is The Art of Money with Art McPherson.
You park in the same spot, you eat the same lunch, and you have your favorite go-to jeans. We are creatures of habit. We do what makes us feel comfortable, but lather, rinse, and repeat might not be the best idea when it comes to your finances. Take retirement planning, for example. As interest rates have gone up, the stock and bond mix in your 401ks has probably gone down. When was the last time you made any significant adjustments? The choices you made 30 years ago might not be serving you well today. Art McPherson can show you options that you might not know existed that can stay in your comfort zone but get you out of that same old stock and bond mentality. Call Art McPherson today and ask for a complimentary consultation that includes a personalized deep dive into your retirement plan. Call 321-425-8550. That's 321-425-8550 or online at artofmoneyradio.com. Those jeans with the holes make you happy, but finding holes in your retirement plan is a necessary change. 321-425-8550 or online at artofmoneyradio.com.
There's a reason potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Art McPherson and the team from McPherson Financial Group can help. Their tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future. That way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report. 321-425-8550. That's 321-425-8550 or online at artofmoneyradio.com. Get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Art McPherson. More information at artofmoneyradio.com.
Once you finally retire, it doesn't mean you won't continue to worry about your retirement. You'll still have bills to pay, you'll still follow what's happening with the markets, and you'll continue to hear the talk of a possible recession. It's normal to be emotional about your money going into retirement, but it's time to retire those worries and gain confidence that your life savings will last. That's why now is the time to call Art McPherson and the team at the McPherson Financial Group. Art will take a deep dive into your portfolio to see what adjustments need to be made, or he can build you a detailed income plan at no cost or obligation to you. Call the McPherson Financial Group today, 321-425-8550, and let's retire your worries. That's 321-425-8550 or online at artofmoneyradio.com. And join us Saturdays at 4 p.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. for The Art of Money with Art McPherson.
artofmoneyradio.com. You can schedule your consultation with Art McPherson and Luke McCarty in just a few clicks from the homepage. also see all the services they offer at the McPherson Financial Group. Again, artofmoneyradio.com. Hey, Halloween coming up next week. Luke McCarty, what's your plan? You were showing us some pictures of your neighborhood. Man, it's looks like Disney World with all the Halloween decorations across your neighborhood.
It does. It makes me look sad because all I have is a inflatable pumpkin with the Chiefs helmet on it in front. So
wow,
I'm doing bad.
So you're going all out.
Yeah, our plan is to dress up the children as Ninja Turtles and walk around the neighborhood and see how much candy we can get and see if we can make more than 2 blocks this year. Because for a 2-year-old, that's a lot of steps.
Yeah, but you got the golf cart, though.
Or the golf cart, but the golf cart's usually for mom or dad. or baby, right? The 7-month-old.
Yeah, because they want to walk.
Yeah, and sometimes driving the golf carts, it's tough because there's so many people.
It's kind of dangerous.
It's kind of dangerous. Yeah, we had some friends come over last year who they had trouble leaving the neighborhood because there was just so much congestion.
What about you, Art McPherson? Are you out and about? Are you going to go hang out with Luke, or do you?
I'm going to go hang out with Luke because he's got 3 under the age of 4. Who else doesn't want to hang out with that?
Yeah,
it is so fun. It puts a big smile on your face.
Sugar them up, sauce them up, and then leave.
Dang,
exactly.
Right.
I just go home, but I get to be there and watch all the craziness and have a lot of fun. Brings me back to my kids, when they were small and how fun it was. I love that time. I love the time from kind of where they are right now to about 12 or 13, the preteen years. It's always a lot of fun because mom or dad are heroes. And the kids are awesome, and it's fun to watch them learn a little bit each and every day.
Caroline will go run around with some of her friends in the neighborhood, and me and Gretchen will sit in the driveway. She'll have a big bowl of candy, and I'll have a cooler next to me, topping off if anybody needs some more wine or a cold beer as they're walking around. So, everybody, adults and kids, get taken care of from the Owens.
That's good. Right, see, I like that.
I want you to hear this clip from comedian Johnny Loquasto. He talks about Halloween in his household, but for him, that means they're going to sit around watching some horror movies.
In this specific storyline, Michael Myers, the bad guy, is now 64 years old. I'm supposed to be scared of a guy who's about to qualify for Social Security. Are you serious? But she's completely invested. She sees him chasing actors, victims, like he does that weird gait, the hop-along thing. She goes, "Oh no, look at the way he's running. That's terrifying." I'm like, "No, that's osteoarthritis. That's what that is. He's got no cartilage left at all, babe." But then she starts feeling sorry for Michael Myers as he's running along, chasing someone else. Like, "Oh, maybe Michael Myers just needs a hug." I'm like, "No, he needs a hip replacement, all right?" I know bone on bone when I see it.
Aging horror movie villains. Well, speaking of frightening, there was a new Fidelity study that found a single person age 65 may need $157,000 saved to cover healthcare expenses in retirement. And for couples, you may need over $300,000. So how do you work these expenses into healthcare into a retirement plan?
You need to make sure you have enough income to account for them because that's going to be real dollars that goes out of your retirement. So how it works right now for the most people, whatever you have for Medicare, you want your Medicare supplement. Well, that Medicare supplement is going to be your Part B premium. Depending on your income level, depends on how much money that premium is. And if you also have the prescription plan with it, then you've got that extra Medicare Part C. Now you've got another premium involved if you have more income. So you can have 3 different things pulling away from your Social Security because those premiums have to be paid. So they are deducted from your Social Security income. So you better be able to account for that and have some pension income or some retirement income from your 401k or other outside investment assets like IRAs or Roths so that you can help supplement that income because those costs are going to be there. And then you also have non-covered costs when you're in the donut hole and things like that happen, or uncovered expenses that are not covered by Medicare. So those are real expenses, and we go through those type of things with our clients here at McPherson Financial Group, make sure we build into that healthcare costs into their planning.
Yeah, another piece that's not covered by Medicare or the Medicare supplement is long-term care. And long-term care, we see the prices rising in a non-inflationary environment at about 5 to 7% year over year. So we can just assume the worst for this last year, assume it's going even higher and higher. And that's one of the biggest concerns of the future is the unknown cost of long-term care. And of course, if you even need it. So we have solutions here that, it could be a single policy, single long-term care. It could be a joint long-term care where, if one of you needs it, but the other doesn't, it's still there for both or whomever. And then if you don't use it, it goes to your beneficiaries. So this is the way we can use cents on the dollar to pay for long-term care because as we sit today, that price is maybe about $6,000 a month, $6,000 or $7,000. It could go higher, maybe it could go lower. What I don't want, somebody to call in and say, well, my long-term care plan is I'm going to sell the house. Well, you really want to sell the house because you need long-term care? Let's find a way around that, so where you can stay in the house, you can get in-home care, and then, your spouse or your kids or your grandkids or, somebody you want to have the house can have the house. So if you don't have a plan, your plan could be spending all your money on something like this. Whereas if you do have a plan, you could, plan for it today and, save 70% on the future cost of long-term care.
Yeah, one of the things that Luke just mentioned, that hit our family, so Julie's dad had to have some long-term care because he had assisted care with his bad Alzheimer's and memory issues. And we had about a 4-year period of time where he was in long-term care, and it was about $6,800 a month. So the costs are real. And if you haven't accounted for those costs, those are going to come directly out of resources or funds. It can be very, very expensive. So that is something that you want to account for. And if you could pay $500 or $1,000 a month today, so you can have $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, or $10,000 a month available for you in the future, why would you not want to do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other piece I'll add to that is Medicaid. In order for you to get on Medicaid, you need to have about, less than about $2,000 to your name. So you'd have to spend all your money, potentially sell the house, depending what type of facility you want to get into. You may or may not like the Medicaid facility. It may not be what you want to be in. And so having, relying on the government for your long-term care, at least in my mind, is not the best strategy if there's ways around it or ways to avoid it.
Long-term care and healthcare is something that you've said before, Luke, that's often overlooked by adults heading into retirement. So let's get ahead of it now. 321-425-8550, artofmoneyradio.com. There was a new Morningstar study that looked at the performance of target date funds over the last 15 years. Their conclusion: if target date funds had never been invented and Vanguard and Fidelity had placed that money in a balanced fund, the investors would be significantly wealthier today. So as we get closer to retirement, target date fund is supposed to move to more conservative investments, but why is that not working?
A lot of times the target retirement date funds, if you look at them, Mark, they have to take what funds are available in the 401k chassis. So usually they're blending those available funds, and basically what they're trying to do is do a percentage blend. And then as you get closer to retirement, more and more of that money is in bonds or bond-like instruments, and less are in stocks or stock instruments. The problem is they're limited on what they can use because it's based on the plan itself. And those target retirement funds are a derivative of that. And, you might have one for retiring in 2025, you'll have one for 2030, and you'll have one for 2035 and 2040. And it's just a different mixture of the same type of funds, where if you're in the Vanguard Balanced Fund, they're doing their normal mix of what Vanguard wants to buy or sell in the bond markets and in the stock markets that are out there in the whole universe. So you're not just limited to those funds available in the 401k chassis only.
Yeah, and these target date funds, they use a fund of funds, meaning if it's like a Fidelity target date fund, well, every sector underneath that Fidelity chassis, I will call it, is another Fidelity fund. So the fees on these are higher than they are reported. You're only seeing the fee for the manager of all the other funds. You're not seeing the fee of all the other funds plus the manager that's putting together all the other funds. So they can be more expensive than you expect. It is interesting saying that the balanced fund would outperform most target date funds, but we have ways to potentially get into your 401k. So if you're under the age of 59 and a half, or your plan does not allow you to roll money out at 59 and a half, we can get into your plan and give you institutional money managers in the plan that you don't have access to. And this just opens your world of investments, because we use Fidelity and Schwab as custodians, but we don't use any of their funds. So not that they're bad, they're just not the best at everything. So just be careful on these target date funds. And the reason why they haven't been working is because they moved everybody to bonds when you're retiring, and bonds are down 20% over the last 3 years.
So there's a lot of people that just don't like TDFs at all.
I think they're easy. You just set it and forget it, but it's not the best return for the risk you're taking, more than likely within that plan. And if your plan allows for a fiduciary like us to get into the plan and open up your world of investments, it just gives you a better risk-adjusted return over time.
Yeah, they usually underperform pretty substantially, Mark. If you look at a 3, 5, and 10-year performance numbers, you would be way better off typically not having them in the mix.
Right, so there's conversations that you're going to have when you schedule that consultation with Art McPherson and Luke McCarty about target date funds, and maybe you have them and you don't realize it. Well, let's take a look at your plan. Let's make adjustments as needed. Again, that initial consultation is no cost, no obligation. So schedule a time to talk to Art, to talk to Luke. Let's talk about putting your plan together. 321-425-8550. And as always, no cost, no obligation for that initial consultation. You can always get more information when you visit artofmoneyradio.com. Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, thanks for the education and the information this weekend. If y'all missed anything, we invite you to check out the Art of Money podcast. It is available across all podcast platforms. We'll be back next weekend, but before we get out of here, Art McPherson, let's give you the final word.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. We look forward to talking to you again next week. Stay classy, Brevard County, Indian River County, and the entire Space Coast.
The preceding program is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. The opinions and statements expressed on this show are solely the opinions of the program's hosts and any guests in any matter as opinions or statements of this station or its producers. This program is not an offer to buy or sell any securities or an inducement to employ an investment strategy.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Securities offered through World Equity Group, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services offered through ProStatus Group, LLC. McPherson Financial Group and ProStatus Group, LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by World Equity Group, Inc. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Art McPherson is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Arthur McPherson. Florida Insurance License number A1774725.
Today's show has been a work of art.